What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity NC, and you are checking out our Something to Wrestle With series recap. Today's episode is the Radicalz jump from WCW to WWE, and we're going to be diving right into it. So let's just go right to the topic. Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson start discussing the Radicalz, and in July 1999, a group in WCW called Revolution is created. In that group, you have Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Shane Douglas, and Perry Saturn. In 2000, the pay per view sold out took place, and Kevin Sullivan became a booker. Woman, Nancy Benoit, was with Kevin Sullivan, but then got married to Chris Benoit. In 96 and 1997, Chris Benoit had many matches with Kevin Sullivan. Had sold out, Chris Benoit defeats Sid to become the new WCW champion, but Sid put his leg under the rope in case wrestlers decided that they were going to leave. Perry Saturn called Bruce Pritchard. He told Bruce what happened at the pay per view. Benoit won the title. Calvin Sullivan's in charge. Talents were offered releases if they want them. Saturn wanted to know if WWE was interested. Bruce knew Perry Saturn from ECW. Bruce told him if he was under a WCW contract, they needed something from Turner saying that they could talk to each other legally. So they faxed over their releases. Less than 24 hours after Benoit wins the title, he wants to leave. All three said if they didn't have anything for them in WWE to please take Chris Benoit. Mike Graham supposedly made a threat to Chris Benoit, and Bruce Pritchard talked to Vince privately about it. Shane Douglas was not included in the convo by the four guys. Bruce met with all of them with JR and brought them into the office. Conan also wanted out of WCW. He was the Hulk Hogan of Mexico. Conan called Bruce Pritchard many times and says, "Hey, it's K Dog." Bruce didn't know who K Dog was and told him to send pictures of himself. Howard Finkel tells Bruce Pritchard K Dog is Conan, and Conan was pissed about that situation, not knowing Bruce Pritchard not knowing who K Dog was. There was meeting with the Radicalz. They were all individual meetings with Vince. It wasn't looked at as a package deal. WWE wanted all four of them. Vince saw Eddie and said he was tiny, and Bruce said he's the Mexican Shawn Michaels. Bruce had met Saturn Benoit prior. Bruce knew Eddie was the man at WCW. Worlds Collide with Art Barr. They had a great match, so he knew Eddie was talented. Bruce thought Benoit and Saturn would be the bigger stars in the group. Vince didn't want Benoit to bring the WCW title over. They didn't view Dean Malenko as a main person, but Bruce doesn't discuss who made how much money. The Radicalz are in the crowd for Raw in February 2000, and they are offered contracts if they beat DX. They lose to DX. Eddie dislocates his elbow during the match. The point would be have the new guys come, get the rug pulled out from under them. What happens now? Dean was a light heavyweight champion. There wasn't an emphasis on the light division. The audience did not get behind that division, so Dean Malenko kind of went to the background. Perry Saturn was a great guy. Saturn beat up Mike Bell and dropped him on his head. He was mad that Bell messed up a spot. WWE would pay their jobbers if they would get hurt during a match. Saturn worked with Terry and won the European title. He wasn't great at promos, and writers came up with the Moppy gimmick for Perry Saturn. Moppy was used to help Saturn because he couldn't talk good. Saturn was let go in 2002. Chris Benoit works with Kurt Angle. He teams with Chris Jericho. Everyone liked Chris Benoit. He loved wrestling, but he was great in the ring. In 2004, WWE wanted to try something different and make Chris Benoit champion. It made people happy. It was the right place and the right time. Chris then loses the title in August after winning it in March. Benoit wasn't a big draw as champion and never became a main champion again. In the last 30 minutes of the Chris Benoit tribute episode, that's when WWE finds out that Benoit murdered his son and his wife and himself. Everyone was shocked. Benoit was loved by Bruce's family and kids. Eddie got hurt in his first match, and then he's paired with China. Eddie was happy to work with China at first. He shows up high, though, and he was sent to rehab and then eventually let go. Eddie then worked for Ring of Honor and then Mid South. And then WWE brought Eddie back in April 2002. In February 2004, Eddie wins the WWE title from Brock Lesnar in San Francisco. Bruce is a huge Eddie fan. There was a push to do something for the Hispanic community. They created the JBL character for Bradshaw. He was a successful investment banker. George Bush was at the border, and they viewed Bush as a heel, and JBL was like George Bush at the time. At Judgment Day 2004, JBL and Eddie tore it up. Bruce didn't like the match because of all the bloodiness of it and the chair shots. Eddie lost a lot of blood. He was knocked out and left with the EMTs. Um, Eddie didn't want the help though, but he took it. Eddie's winning meant the world to him. They did an angle in El Paso where Eddie the Guerrero family is from. Eddie goes to give his mom flowers and she's supposed to faint. Eddie starts yelling at Bruce Pritchard, and her personal doctor says that something's not right. His mom had a real heart attack. Eddie was pissed. WB did not draw well in border towns. Usually people buy tickets day of in those towns. They were selling less than 1,000 tickets in El Paso. However, he eventually was able to get all of that draw number back. Eddie dropped the title because they had a huge heel in WWE. Eddie would call Bruce every night and tell him he was okay, and then he would call Vicky. Eddie passed in November 2005, brushing his teeth. It was difficult for Bruce. And that is it. We learned a lot about the four men, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Perry Saturn, their leave from WCW and their rise in WWE. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, stay uncensored. We'll see you next time.